Here we have a feather blade of Scotch beef. It comes from the shoulder, and the name feather actually denotes from the thick silver gristle that runs the full length of this muscle, and it actually feathers out. Mainly used as a braising steak, but with a little bit of effort and fine trimming, we can produce two nice flat muscles suitable for pan frying or grilling. It's been seamed off the bone, so here we have our bone sheath, or the connective tissue that actually attaches the muscle to the bone. It's very fibrous, and it's important that we remove this connective tissue. Like all our seaming, we're just using the point of the knife to make entry, and then just finely skinning the connective tissue off, making sure that we don't cut into any of the underlying muscle. Once we're happy with the underside of trim, we need to turn this primal over and work on the fat side. Now if we turn this over to the external side, we have a thick covering of natural fat, but we also have a thick silver gristle laying right over the top and underneath the fat. So it's important that we remove these, and again taking care under the silver gristle not to be cutting into the muscle. Again, any smaller pieces of muscle we will remove for our trim. And as once this is removed, you'll be able to see the fine texture of the meat that we've just exposed. So there's the fat and gristle removed, and there we can see the fine texture of the meat underneath. And as I said, making sure that we don't cut in and make deep incisions into that piece. Last little bit of trimming here. Our next is to follow along the thick silver gristle that runs right the way down through the centre. Just finding the extent of the starting point. It does start thick and then fans out thin but wide. And again, I'm using more of a scraping action than a cutting action, as I don't want to be cutting through the silver gristles. So taking care just to get to the end over that silver, and you can see very, very clearly now the full extent of that silver gristle running from one end to the other. So there's our top muscle off. And now the remaining piece that we've trimmed, but again we need to remove the silver gristle. It's finding the point where you feel comfortable of making entry and then carefully skinning this gristle from over the top of the muscle, checking all the time that I'm not cutting in deep, and I'm not leaving any excess meat on that gristle. And there's that thick silver centre gristle removed intact. And then the final bit is just to, again, check the excess trim. That then is our feather. That is a lot of fat lines or our marbling within the muscle, our centre gristle, and our underside of the feather. So that is how we produce our flat iron feather steaks.